Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, James, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Hey, welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. Me, I'm here with Greg Romero Wilson, waiting for McCorkle and Don Frye, who was supposed to do the MMA awards, but he got bit by a spider. The thing, his hand blew up. Like that was some of the funniest thing though. Was I called him to make sure he was okay, and he was okay. But then our thread of like McCorkle going, man, but you should have seen what happened when he bit the spider back. It was just one joke after another. But yeah, here with Greg Wilson, and what a week it was. Oh my God. We got to start first talking about the Pena fight, because that's just like the
Of course, that's your crowning achievement in MMA predictions of all time.
Dude, I went back because I go, this girl's going to be champ. Give her the title shot. Let's go. Like 6 years ago, I said this on Twitter, and people were like, you suck, F you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're like, no, that's a good joke, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
so then I put the keywords of finding that, and then all of it came up, and I was like, you were saying, and then people were like, you are the most petty person of all time. People were like, I aspire to be the type of petty you are, where you go back to 2016. People were calling me like a python of like a slow kill. Somebody said to me, like, I can't imagine like what your grudges are like. And then I posted the gif of, remember Billy Madison when Steve Buscemi had like a list of people to kill, and then Adam Sandler called him up and said, hey man, sorry for picking on you in high school, whatever. You ever see that? And he puts on lipstick across.
I've never been a big Adam Sandler movie fan. I'm just not. Everyone I know loves him, and I'm always like, this is so fucking stupid. I hate almost all of them.
The early ones were classic.
I hated the early ones. I liked The Wedding Singer. That was one of the ones I liked, was The Wedding Singer.
Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. Those three were like just one of my favorite. And then they got a little bit, once everyone else got involved, you could see where he like lost control of his own movies. And it was just sort of like, I think that one with Harvey Keitel where he played the devil or something got a little bit too crazy.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that one. And didn't do well, that one either. What was it, like Little Nicky, I think that one was called?
So the one was Big Daddy was good. I like Big Daddy. That was pretty good too, especially being a father now.
That one was okay. I mean, I saw that one. I liked. It was all right. It wasn't. I didn't like Billy Madison. I just didn't. Waterboy I thought was dumb as shit. I've never been a big, in terms of his movies, I've never been that big of a fan. That's me.
I hear you. I hear there's some people like that too. They love certain people, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I watch it, and I'm like, I'm trying to fit in. I like want to laugh along with people sometimes, and I'm just like, especially with like comedians sometimes. Anyway, but I digress. I was watching it on Watch Party with UFC. They took me. I got to go to the UFC Apex watch. It was Forrest Griffin, and we're watching it, and I'm calling Pena. And it was like, you ever see Rocky IV when like Rocky says, come back against a Russian, and Paulie takes the other trainer's face and just starts smudging it like, he's winning. Yeah. That's what I was doing to Forrest Griffin. I was like, she's coming back. She's coming back. Dude, when she won, I jumped on him. I started wrestling Forrest. I literally started like, he was like, what the fuck? Like I was going, remember that time you were over at my house and Ellenberger won? And I was going ballistic. First it was Woodley and Ellenberger. Then they won the same card. Like Woodley knocked out, I think Darren Till, and Ellenberger beat Matt.
I like the time Bubba won that match. We were at that bar and everyone wanted us to shut up, but we were losing our minds, and I almost got in a fight. Dude. It's like, I've seen you go full tilt when someone you want to win actually does.
But when like I jumped on Forrest, started like I was going ballistic. I was so happy for Pena, and you know what it was? It was just like. The girl, like I said before, she has a belief in herself that you can't buy. a lot of people have that like that self-doubt. Like remember I said like when Ben Glebe always kills. I've seen him bomb, but he always thinks he has a great set. And and same with Tiffany Haddish. I think Tiffany Haddish at the Laugh Factory, not get a laugh. People were like visibly like, and she walks off like she fucking murdered, and it's not an act. She just believes that she murdered, and I wish you could buy that skill.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because when I
ain't got it.
No.
I walk out of there going, God damn. People used to give me compliments after shows, be like, that was so great and everything. And then I would feel the need to explain how it could have been better. They'd be like, that was such an amazing show. I'm like, yeah, I know. I didn't, that one bit didn't go like I thought it would. And then they're just standing there. And then finally, my wife one boy was like, just say thank you. Just say thank you. 100%. And I was like, better, yes. I'll just say thank you from now on. I've had threesomes after shows with 2 porn stars, and I'm still mad. I'm not even. I'm not even happy about I'm happy enough to be there, but I'm still like pissed about the fucking show. Like there were times. I remember it was the time, not with the porn stars, but the Friends finale. It was the Friends finale. Most watched show of all time. This is before DVR and TiVo, and my agent sets a thing where the entire Gersh agency comes to see me at the Westwood Bruco. And I'm like, no. Oh, my God. Well, I spent all day walking around UCLA trying to get anyone to come. Nope. Everyone's like, no, I'm watching Friends. So the only people there were the agents, 15 agents who were pissed they weren't watching Friends. And then, God. Like, 100 times, and, like, Nick Swartzen and, like, he was cool, but like 5 comics that couldn't wait to watch me bomb. And it was fucking brutal. And my agent's like, what happened? What happened? I told you to fucking cancel the show 100 times. I knew this was going to happen. Like, and none of them sat in the front. They all sat against the wall at the end. Right, exactly. They're like, no, that's for the audience. We're industry. We did that happened one time in the 90s. In an improv troupe, we started booking corporate events. This was our first big corporate event. They took us to Maui to perform for this company at their big annual event. And it turned out to be Carson's last night on television. Oh. And we're like, come on, guys, let's just have a great show, blah, blah. So the opening act is this comedian guy. He's great, very funny. He goes, all right, please welcome, ad-libs. And we come out there, and as we're coming out, we have this musical intro. We're doing all these funny little bits or whatever. Well, we thought they were funny at the time. And the audience, okay, now the room, it's like a conference a center arena type thing. So there's probably like 4,000 people in it. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge fucking place. All packed. They're like, here comes ad-libs. And we start doing our thing, and the doors fly open, and everyone just starts streaming out of there because they knew it was time to go watch Carson because it was earlier. It was in Hawaii, so it started earlier there. So everyone just starts, or later, someone starts leaving. They're all just pouring out of the place to go watch Carson's last night on television. And and so this room that seats like 4,000 people is down to like 75. Spread out around this fucking thing.
Was that a Brendan Schaub show you're talking about?
Boom! We got him. That's one. There he is.
Like someone just left just now. Like that, he just comes on for that and then leaves.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't even know it was here until then. But it was very much like that.
I had another agency one time where I was like the biggest agency was coming to see me, and I had a girlfriend at the time whose friend was like, this is like 10 years ago when weed wasn't legal, and she bakes these weed cookies and puts them on the thing and goes, eat me when you want to relax. I'm yummy. I didn't even know they were weed cookies. So I ate like 6 of them because I'm like, I want to relax. At least taste them. And then I'm like, I'm fucking floating, and I got to do it.
Oh, my God. Oh, life is so fucking cruel.
So then there was a NACA conference one time where, like, the big college conference, I'm about to go on. And, like, if you do well, you get, like, 100 colleges, which could be, like, $300,000. If you bomb it, it's costing you $5,000 to be there, or
pretty much, yep.
And I get a text right before I go on stage. Producer from Last Comic Standing, you're off the show. And this is before they had picked me to be on the show. They go, you're going to Hollywood. They pick 30 people. And then they're like, oh, just because we told you that you're going on the show doesn't mean you're actually going on the show. I go, but you try and call my parents. And the judge,
how could you be so stupid and think because they told you were going to be on that you were going to be on?
Like, I got past the judges. Like, on TV.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
They go, no.
Why wouldn't you think that?
He said that anyway. So Julie got a
They did that to so many people.
I saw them do it one time where the guy got through. I think it was a really funny comic, Tom Clark, really funny comic, and he got through, and I was there, he had a great set. They took him off the show and then put him in like the worst compilation of like, and some of the comics bombed. And I'm like,
no!
Yeah, and I was like,
I hated that show so much. It was so staged and so fake and was just a platform to promote certain managers' comics. It was just not, it was never real. It was always fake.
So anyway, I was so happy for Juliana Pena. I went going nuts. And it was just like, it was crazy. I mean, it's funny because like the first round happened, right? Where she got dominated the first round. And me and Forrest were watching. And I'm like, oh, I got that, 11-4 Pena. Like we're just being like, oh, because we're both rooting for Juliana. And her corner was like Ricky Little, who goes, hey, you got him right where you want her. And I'm like, dude, that's like what I tell my wrestling kids when they're down 10-0. Like, just like, and I'm obviously trying to give them any form. I'm like, right where is what? Like,
look, no matter what happens, everyone gets ice cream.
Like, I'm like, right. And then like, I guess the thing was to tire her out. And the girl was exhausted. She believed her own hype. She didn't train properly or didn't train like she used to. And Pena can take a fucking punch. Makes sense because she's never been rocked. She's been choked out, but she's never been hurt. That girl could take a fucking punch. And if you could withstand the girl who's punching you, who's the bully, and then every punch Nunez threw was trying to knock her out. I mean, she loaded on everything. She exhausted herself. And Pena, it was awesome. Now, what do you think, Sean, of the whole thing?
I think, man, some nights you're just on, and Juliana Pena has the balls to stand there and trade with her. And it was like Amanda's face was a punch magnet, dude. Like it was everything she threw was landing. She could, close her eyes and swing, it was landing. I always felt like I had that skill. Like my face would catch the punch no matter where it was at. But like literally, a guy could close his eyes and just throw two haymakers, one with each hand. They both hit me at the same time. But and I don't know what anyone else is saying about it, but Amanda Nunes quit. That wasn't a choke. That was anything. She quit. So that surprised me that she quit at the end. It also surprised me that Juliana said she's the first real mother to be a champion, which that was a little surprising. But she really did say that. Like whatever she says, it doesn't matter. She'll never take anything away from the father that Amanda Nunes is. So
no, yeah, Greg. I don't know if you heard that. It's in the press conference.
I didn't. I missed that.
They said, "Are you the baddest mom to ever win the belt or something?" And she goes, "Well, I think I'm the only." What she meant was she did say they took it out. They didn't put the whole quote in. She did say Amanda's an amazing mother. She said Amanda's amazing mother, which she didn't say. So she didn't say she wasn't a mother. She just said that basically what she was trying to say was like she didn't give birth to her kid, and I think she was saying that took a lot out of her body, out of any woman out of their body,
which is very true. I mean,
right.
Now, it absolutely changed.
Well, how do you think imagine how much took out on Amanda's body to get her wife pregnant though? Like that would have been really hard on her. So.
Now the people ran. Now the quote, it wasn't the greatest quote, the way she kind of phrased it, and people jumped on it right away of like she's a bigot and this and that, and tagging ACLE.
Oh my God! Can't even win a championship, and they have everyone attacking you like, oh, she's a real man.
Pena could have phrased it better for what I think she was trying to say, but at the same time, like. She just fucking won a belt. Her whole life has been for this one thing. Like, I mean, but anyway, I'm sure someone got to her and said, hey, her agent or probably said, listen, let's rephrase that. But I give her credit because she said, look, I'll give her a rematch or I'll fight Valentina. Like she didn't say like, no, I don't know if she's ready for a rematch, blah, blah. I mean, Pena said, let's go right away. And it was awesome. I was going fucking crazy. People said it was the biggest upset of all time in the female division, and it was not. She was a 6.5 or a 7-1 underdog.
My 100 would have paid 700, but I couldn't stand the thought of Greg saying, "How dumb are you? I told you she had no chance." I literally was going to put 100 on it at 7-1. I was like, I know Greg will be like, "Are you retarded?"
This is how I know you're lying because you don't bet $100. In hindsight, you can sit there and say, I was going to bet $100, but we all know that means $10,000.
Right.
And you know what?
Or one dog.
Exactly. If you would have bet $10,000, she would have lost. She only won because you didn't bet on it.
Dude, not that.
I tell you what, I feel like that's true most of the time, man.
Dude, the whole weekend, I'm like, I'm going to put this on Pena. I'm putting Pena, right? The whole weekend, right? Then, like, I go from Canada to Vegas, and I take my kid to Circus, right? And then we go from there to the MMA Awards. So I had to get a tox, right? And that cost. And then we go to the aquarium, right? Which is the more money. And then we go to after the aquarium, we go to M&M World, which is like the biggest fucking ripoff in the history of. I'm paying like $15. Like each one is like $20. And then I go to another one. It was just one thing after another. We went to the Bellagio with the kid. It was so finally when I finally I'm like stop the bleeding. I get to the ATM and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put $50. I'm gonna do parlay. I'm gonna put 20 on this, 20 on that. And then it's an $8 fucking service charge at the casino. And I'm like, fuck this $8 just to take because you can't bet with your credit card. You have to bet cash. And I
love that they charge you for cash that you're giving to them. That blows my mind. You know what I mean? Like it's not enough that they're gonna take it anyway. Like
I was buying breakfast for my wife and I and the baby. It was like $50 for breakfast for the three of us. It was just like things were just fucking adding up, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do one parlay. I'm not gonna do a separate bet. I'm gonna put Giuliani in that. So I had like 9 people in the parlay, and of course, first fight in. Because it was $40 to win $17,000, right? And I'm like, $40 to win $17,000. The lady, she goes, "Good luck." Like she even was just like,
it's like thanks for your money, like.
So dude, right away,
oh my god!
Right away, Eric Anders gets fucking choked out first fight in the parlay, and now I'm rooting for the rest of them to lose because I'm like, oh, I know my next 9 are gonna come in, and I'm the fucking moron. But I love Eric Anders. He gave me a free T-shirt with friends, yada, yada, yada. So Don Frye is calling me right now.
So that T-shirt cost you $40.
Don.
Yeah.
48.
Are you coming on the podcast?
48.
Saying the address is wrong or something like that.
All right. I'll send you the link again.
Is Don driving to the podcast?
So, all right, yeah, we're giving him.
Okay, listen. Let me. Okay, if you want to throw money away on a long shot, you can do that. If you're making one that you're like, here's my one. You have to pick the ones the 3 that you're like, those are a lock. I totally want, and then that way you're like, if it doesn't go, you have a shot of.
I didn't think you're like, well, was a lock. I wanted her to win.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you were throwing it away, basically, when you're like, I only have one, so I better make it the longest shot in the world.
That's exactly.
That's fucking stupid. If you have one, you go for your best shot.
What was crazy was that my underdogs came in. I bet on Oliveira. That came in. I bet on I had 5 that actually came in. I had what's his name, Dominic Cruz. I think he was a favorite. He came in. It was Cody No Love that got fucking crushed.
He killed 4 of my parlays.
Eric Anders.
So you did go ahead and bet on all this. So don't act like. Yeah. So did you go on betting on any of them?
No, I lost every bet because Cody Garbrandt. I was so sure he was going to win. I was like, well, that's the lock. Then I'm going to put in all my parlays because I thought Cody's size and power moving to 125. I was like, no one's going to knock him out at 125. And, I could have, I would have been happy to hear he died after that fight. I was so mad that he cost me all this. That's how I blame him specifically. But
I didn't want him to die, but
maybe not die.
But I did go. But it was crazy. As soon as he got hit with the one, I'm like, oh yeah, he's probably depleted. He probably has no water in him. His chin was not great at 135.
And that's all they could talk about was, that's what they say. When you have to cut weight like that much, it really affects your chin. I don't know what that is. It's not bad, but that's what they couldn't stop mentioning that shit.
Well, there was a chance. Well, first when he got rocked, he said, come on, bring it. And I was like, this is the baddest motherfucker ever. Like, that looked really cool for a guy to get, rocked like that and say,
until he got hit again.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, he recovered. Oh, my God. I was like, oh, nope, that was a fake. Okay, there he goes. Yep.
Now the link is working for everybody but Don Frye, right? Is that?
Yeah. All
right. The second one was Charles Oliveira. Well, not the main card. For some reason, I had a feeling Oliveira was going to win because I think that Conor McGregor was the X factor here because everyone McGregor was like a Tyson for a second. He was just beating everybody. I mean, not and he was knocking them out, but he never came back. McGregor never got hurt and came back in a fight ever. All of his fights, he always.
That's true.
And if he didn't knock you out, he pretty much lost, except for the Nate Diaz fight. That went to decision, and the Max Holloway fight early on. And maybe he has some more in Cage Warriors that I haven't seen. But, but I think that everyone had built McGregor so much that when Poirier beat him, it was like they were forgetting how good Oliveira was. I think that I don't know how good McGregor is right now. It's like one of those things like, everyone was like, well, he fucking ran through Cowboy, but that dude, like, that was a weird fight where he got, hurt with shoulder strikes. That's never happened before in the history. Like, I've never seen that happen. Shoulder strike, like, knocks you out. Like, what the fuck was that? It was a strange situation. But I'll give Oliveira credit though, because I was watching the first round. I was like, Oliveira's crazy. He got rocked a couple times, and I'm with Forrest Griffin, who knows a lot more about fighting than I do, obviously. And he's like, "Oh, Oliveira looks great," and I'm like, "Great? He's getting fucking murdered. Like, what are you talking about? This is a great game plan." I'm like, he's about to get knocked out, and then lo and behold, Oliveira came back and choked him out round 2. I mean, was it 2 or round 3? Forget which round it was.
I think it was 2, or was it 3?
I don't remember.
I don't know. There's no recap. Honestly, there's no recap of the slate on the UFC website for some reason.
Tell you what, though, there was more fighting in that first round than there is in most total UFC fights, man. Them dudes went at it for the first round.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But y'all, something I found interesting, man. At no point did Oliveira look like he doubted he was going to win, like during the fight. He didn't look like he – and same with Juliana Pena. They both looked – I don't know how to explain it other than, like, Oliveira got dropped, and he looked like he was still coming straight forward, not at all discouraged, not anything. And Juliana Pena, when she was getting hit, she just kept swinging, and there wasn't, like, no fear, no anything. It's I don't know. Belief in yourself can be a powerful thing, man.
Don, what do you think of the Pena fight?
I question it. I don't want to say. I don't want to. I really don't want to say it because what's her name?
Juliana.
No,
Nunez. Nunez.
Yeah, Nunez. Shit, I'm having a bad day. I just question her. I don't want to say what I think because she lives in Brazil and they've been known to kill a soccer player for missing a fucking goal. So,
I mean, do you think maybe she just kind of overlooked Pena, thought she was going to come in and just gasped quickly, and then she had nothing left?
Yeah, I think she believed in her own newspaper clippings, Not that they're newspaper clippings anymore, but that's also what us old people used to say,
Yeah.
You believe your own newspaper clippings. And it looks like, that was it. She was impressed with herself, didn't worry. She probably played mom too much instead of going to the gym and playing athlete, and bit her in the ass.
What do you think of the Poirier-Oliveira fight?
Oh, that was a good fight, man. I was impressed, I was really impressed. And them two boys scrapped the whole time. I agree with Sean. I think Oliveira never thought he was going to lose at all. He wasn't worried at all.
It's crazy though, because I was like, in the beginning, I was like, he was getting clipped a lot, and I'm like, what is this a good strategy? Because he's getting rocked, but it obviously was a great strategy of just getting in so close to Dustin where he couldn't really wasn't in his range, and at the same time, or going to the ground and hitting him with like those elbows. And it looked like Dustin was surprised at his strategy. Like he was not expecting Oliveira to just bum rush him like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't expect the champion to bring the fight to you. You got to bring the fight to the champ usually. I mean, because you've got to significantly defeat the champ in order to win the belt.
Did you ever have a fight like that where you didn't expect the guy to have the game plan he had?
No. Never cared. Never cared about their game plan. I just played mine.
That sounds right.
What about you, Sean?
I can literally say no fight I ever fought went the way I thought it would. Like it was like every time I would like plan it all out in my head, like this will do this will happen. And like when I fought Solo Palele, he picked me up and slammed me first thing, like picked me up like over his head and slammed me. And I was positive he was going to stand with me and not try to go to the ground because there's no way I was going to beat him standing up. And then he decides to make him slam me first thing. Christian Moorcraft tried to knee bar me. A guy who's a wrestler, and not even a good, just a high school wrestler, not even a college wrestler, goes to a knee bar after I take him down, which I just didn't see a 6'8", 300-pound guy try to knee bar me, and it actually worked. He didn't submit me, but he reversed me. So, yeah, I never had very good game plans at all, I don't think.
I'll tell you who I was impressed with the most out of the whole card, well, except for Pena, of course, was O'Malley. Because that guy O'Malley knocked out was good. He didn't knock out some scrub.
And that's what he made him look like he was a scrub. You go in there goes, I thought this guy was supposed to be a real challenger for him, and he made him look like a stepping stone. I got to admit, it was pretty impressive. He's a guy that gets better. He's getting better and better. It
was amazing. I mean, I don't know. O'Malley, because he has everybody like kind of rooting either for or against him. Nobody's like neutral on him. Got a lot of pressure, and he's rising up. Like you could tell he hits fucking. He's also a lot bigger than these guys. He's he's a huge 135er. He must cut.
Yeah, he's very long.
But he's got that.
It's funny to hear Joe Rogan talk about how huge some of the 135-pounders are. Like Joe on the podcast, like, if you've seen this guy in person, he's at least 5'4", 140, walks around, be like, he's a massive person. I'm like, dude, that's what?
John, were you impressed with O'Malley?
Just the 6'7" guy.
John, were you impressed with O'Malley at all?
Yeah, man, you know what? He's I would like to see the 21 guys the other guy beat, because the other guy looked pretty bad, but I don't know who they were. But I think he's ready to step up. They keep saying it's funny because he says he doesn't want to step up to higher competition, which he was one of the only honest fighters like me. Like, I always wanted to fight the worst guy available, hopefully injured, or a guy that's like way well past his time with a big name. Like, I would have fought Wes Sims every fight if I could have. But yeah, it's I think he's ready, man, for the way he looks, the way he moves. He's on another level striking from these guys he's been fighting. I mean, on a way another level. So I could do without the fake basketball dribbling and shot after. I think that's ridiculous. But he also has neon pink hair, so what do I know?
Yeah. I was going to say, you got to let him have his style. You know what I mean? Everyone's got their little thing. Like, Valentina, she likes to do her little, ballet dance at the end. Like, that's kind of the thing,
Don, what are your thoughts on Sean O'Malley?
I agree with Sean. He needs to ditch the hair and the basketball dribble. You're fighting. Just stand there, shadow box or something. Don't bad dribble a basketball. Shit, your style. You already proved your style works. Your style is your fighting, and you don't need the goofy look now. I mean, if it works for you, fine, but find something else that's dribbling at basketball. I mean, they're goddamn commies. They're with the Chinese.
Wait, so all basketball players are commies?
The majority.
Primarily the
only
Chinese.
If you're in the NBA.
I don't think that most of the guys in there are commies. I don't think that most of those guys are support socialism in the NBA. I think those guys are pretty happy with what they're earning.
Right, they don't understand. They don't understand. A lot of people don't understand that capitalism got them where they're at, and that if they had communism, they wouldn't have anything. They'd be playing for a bowl of broth.
Well, they've been being paid like the UFC fighters. That is what Don's getting at.
Yeah. Worse than UFC fighters, yeah.
I'll tell you who surprised me also was Jeff Neal. Because that guy, Ponzinibbio is a great fighter. And Jeff Neal beat him. I mean, it was 1-1 going to the third, I had at least. And Jeff Neal got
Sorry, go ahead.
Jeff Neal got a DUI 2 weeks before. So I figured his head was not going to be where it should be. Like, he's got all these other problems and this and that. He's an issue. And nothing affected him, man. He looked great. Greg?
Yeah, I heard he was trying to take John Jones' style.
Wait, what was that, Don?
He needed the bonus to pay for his attorney.
He was motivated. He was real motivated to stay out of jail.
You're damn right.
Don, did you ever get a DUI?
No, I've been lucky. My truck knows how to get home by itself, I was real lucky.
Greg Frye, have you ever been arrested?
Of course I've been arrested. I was arrested for being too damn sexy.
Really? You got arrested?
I was driving through a very ugly town, and they pulled me over and they threw me in jail just so the wives could all milk me. I have about 14 kids. I think the town's name is Comforth, right there between New Mexico and Colorado somewhere.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. I had no idea. I
heard Schaub got arrested the other day for impersonating a cocksucker.
That's two. That's 2 so far.
Football. And nothing goes better with football than turkey and betting. BetOnline has you covered all holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. Okay? BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this Thanksgiving. You got to head to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with promo code CLNS50 to receive your bonus. It's not just football, okay? BetOnline has pro and college hoops. They got NHL. They got boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, we're stuffed with deals this Thanksgiving. All right, let's get back to the podcast. Now, Sean, I know you and Dominic Cruz have had your differences, but you must have been impressed with Dominic Cruz because he was rocked in the first.
Dude, I was amazed. I was amazed at what he said about Daniel Cormier and then didn't back off of it. That cracked me up to Cormier's face. Like, well, you do suck. I'm just like, holy crap. But, he said later on in an interview, it's Christmas time. It's time to forgive people. Christmas is actually Dom's favorite time of year, I heard, because it finally gives him a chance to don his gay apparel. So, I don't know.
Were you saving that one up all week? You saved that one up. That was the one you held on to.
All week, all year.
Did you say Sean or Don?
He's
going to Sean his gay apparel.
But Cruz, you know what? I'll tell you who lost that fight was Keith Peterson, because I always thought that it wasn't the worst stoppage in the world, and Dom was complaining about he wasn't really hurt. Well, he was a lot more hurt, I think, in this fight than in the Cejudo fight, and he came back.
For sure. For sure.
Man, I give him a lot of credit. Dominic Cruz, and the other guy seemed like he didn't stop fighting, but allowed Dom to get back in the fight and win.
Yeah, he kept letting him get back in the fight too. Every time he'd get hurt, he kind of would back off and give him a second to compose himself. Be like, okay, you ready again? Like I was talking. It was like an anti-killer instinct. It was like he wanted to hurt you and then revive you and massage your shoulders and be like, all right, you feel better? You ready to go again? He let him off the hook 4 times in that fucking fight.
Frye?
Yeah, I don't know who his psychological coach is, but he screwed up big time. I mean, why would you back off and let the guy regain his sense, his ability? Shit, that's when he should have attacked hard.
Well, Dom was throwing back, and the old saying is, a wounded animal is the most dangerous. So maybe he was just trying to be, a little bit too cautious. But it was crazy. Ryan Hall is a guy that
what a sight. I love his facial expression at the end. He's just I don't know.
Yeah,
did it. I keep winning. I don't know.
He's the positive for having zero testosterone, the guy. Ryan Hall is the guy. If they remake Dexter, get rid of fucking that Dexter guy and put Ryan Hall.
Absolutely. If there's anybody he's definitely skinning, other people and making a dress out of their flesh somewhere in a well. The guy's definitely got something weird going on in a van.
But
I wonder how many times he's almost really hurt someone who thought they could bully him, you know what I mean, or whatever. Because to look at him, you wouldn't think he's a hole. But I guarantee you, he's been at a bar or club if he even goes to places like that. But I guarantee he's been somewhere somebody's messing with him. He was probably just sitting there thinking, do you know what I could do to you? Do you have any idea? Because he looks like an accountant or something, man. But he's dangerous on the ground. That dude is something else.
But I've never seen a guy so good at getting hit in the face, looking like he's getting knocked over, and then going for a heel hook. I wonder if he trains like that, where he lets the guy punch him, and then he falls down and goes.
That was Fabrice Overdoom's move. That's how he got Fedor. He acted like he was hurt and would fall to his back, and guys would jump into his guard and submit him. It was.
And they talked about that in the commentary, how he does these moves to make you think he's off balance, to make you think, so that you come in on him, and then he drops down and grabs your leg. And he did that a couple of times where he thought they were engaging, and then he would just fall down and grab his fucking leg. I mean, it's the strangest yet effective fucking technique ever.
I've never seen it. Don, you ever hit somebody that they did that to you?
Hell, I don't know. I don't know if they were faking it or not. I didn't care. I just, I just jumped on. Let's see, when was it? I thought Ken Shamrock did it, because when I knocked him down and I got on him, he was already wide awake, shit.
Yeah.
He's more alert. He's more alert after the punch than before the punch,
So have you ever punched a guy
that happens
out and then knocked him back to consciousness?
Yeah, that happens in a heavyweight fight. Yeah, you can knock him out, then you hit him again, and it wakes him back up, and that's why you got to be careful at the heavyweight level.
Sean, do you ever do that to anybody?
Yeah, I've done it. It's happened multiple times, man. Especially in my relationships. No, no, I've had guys where I hit them with a real good elbow, and I thought the fight was going to be over, so I swing again and hit them, and then they start fighting back. Like the second time you hit them, it's like, oh shit, I should have left it alone after the first one.
Yeah,
but it does happen. It happens.
And like you overthink everything, Sean. So I could just see you like fucking go, like, oh fuck, like beating yourself up because of that. Like it just.
I know one time during a fight, it's one of the funniest things ever. I picked a dude up and slammed him, and when we hit the ground, he goes, "Holy shit, you're strong," and it completely threw me off, like in a fight or whatever, because it was just like a compliment, but like he was also almost admitting defeat, Yeah. And it really made me think for a second. Then I punched him in the face a whole bunch, and he almost died. But yeah, it was. That was the guy who was like my fourth fight. He started having seizures after I hit him. I hit him a couple times after he was out, which I felt bad about, but I was just wanted the fight over with. And so then he started seizing, foaming at the mouth, and his heart stopped, and they were pumping his chest and trying to wake him up. And his mom was like in the front row looking at me and looking at her son. And I almost, I didn't want to fight. I think I didn't fight for like almost a year after that. I didn't want to do it anymore, man. That was, I didn't want to kill anybody, man. That's, it's a whole different thing to beat someone up and then to actually have killed someone for a split second, like it,
right.
They're hard to stop.
You mean you didn't want to kill anybody anymore?
Right. Yeah, I didn't want to kill.
Once you actually got there, you were like, "Oh, this isn't cool. I thought it'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's not cool."
Right. Yeah, it's not as cool.
Not in a sporting environment.
Yeah.
Not in a sporting environment. If they owe me money on the street, that's a different story.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jillian Robertson had a girl in a rear naked choke, and it was like early on. The girl put her finger in her eye. I mean, literally, like that was insane.
Twice, and they were like, and they kept going, "That was so dirty. That was so dirty," and it was. I mean, she should be kicked out of the UFC or somehow fined or something. I mean, that kind of.
I heard John Jones said if you're going to poke somebody in the eye, you need to do it while you're facing them. None of this dirty while they got your back. They do it like a man, right to their face.
exactly. Trying to maintain distance,
like
trying to measure.
Yeah.
And then the whole Ty Tavosi. I don't understand the shoey. I don't get it.
Yeah,
people are going crazy about it. I don't know. It's not my thing.
Did you see when he got hit in the eye with the beer at the end, and he like like someone poured alcohol in his eye.
Well, they're trying to pour it in his mouth, and it just straight his fucking eye. And he's like, "Ah, shit! There's alcohol in my fucking."
Well, another guy.
I thought he reacted like that because he realized he was drinking alcohol out of a dirty shoe from someone in the crowd. That's how I reacted.
You know,
I like how there's people with masks walking around because of COVID. He's taking people's dirty shoes and drinking their sweat. Like, no problem at all.
Okay, so I played the El Paso comic strip for years, and it's a military base. And one of the biggest ones in America is right there, Fort Bliss. And so we've had a lot of military come to the show before. And after one of the shows, we're partying afterwards with some of these military guys. And he's like, "Let's shoot the boot." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Shoot the boot." And he takes off his boot, and he made all of us spit in it first.
Oh, God.
And then he poured beer in it, and then he drank the whole thing.
Well, that guy.
It was like 5 guys, 1 boot. Was that the video?
That's the guy. That guy hangs out at rest stops, along the road.
That guy probably has all the antibodies too. So, that guy's not good. So, by the way, so I did a show. So I invited Terence Mckinney. You know Terence. Terence, the guy. He won his last 3 fights by knockout. He's like just won in like 17 seconds in under a minute. And his story is like a crazy story, right? So I invited him to my show, and he's like, first he was going to present at the awards. He was super excited about it, first award show. So I invited him, and he's like, "I'm going to bring my mom." And I'm like, "Okay, great." Then he's like, "Hey, man, I can't make it, blah, blah." So I invited somebody else, because this guy William came, right? So William came with his mom, but I never met Terence before, or William. I met William like once. So it's dark at the LA Comedy Club. And he's like, "Hey, I like made it." So I think it's Terence. He's like, "Hey, man, thanks for the tickets." I'm like, "No problem." And he's with his mom. I'm like, "Oh, thanks." So I'm on stage, right? I'm like, "God, guys, there's some MMA fighters here. Terence McKinney's here. Terence is an amazing fighter.
No.
He's ranked #1 in the nation." in wrestling. He was, and then he took LSD and he took cocaine, took mushrooms one night. He got tased 3 times by the cops, and then he was pronounced dead 3 times. He recovered. So I do a whole, everyone's applauding, blah, 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 blah. And then Tatiana Suarez was here. I'm like, Tatiana's ranked number 2 in the world. She beat cancer, and she's, so I do a whole thing, right? At the end, I go, so Terence, when's your next fight? And then Terence's mom goes, his name is William. I had the wrong guy. I was like, oh shit, William. He's like, oh, wait, so that you're not Terence McKinney? He's like, no, my name is William. I go, luckily I knew William too. I go, what? They call him Prison Will over at his gym because he fights like he's in prison. I'm like, oh, William, I know William. I'm like, they call you Prison? He goes, yeah, because you just got out of prison. I go, man, if I was fighting you, I would drop the soap and run. I do a whole bit about William, thank God. But I called Terence and told him that. I did an entire speech about him, and it wasn't him at all.
Good work. Now nobody thinks you think all black people look the same.
Yeah, that's what I said. I go, this looks really bad.
This is so bad.
I like how you added that it was really dark in there so you couldn't tell.
it was.
That definitely made it better. That definitely made it less racist.
Oh, man.
And you can't see him in the dark. Am I right?
Only if they smile.
It was.
I can see his eyeballs and his teeth.
Thank you. I called Terence later and told him sorry. Left. Then I go to the MMA Awards. Right, they went really well. We did a couple sketches that I wrote this year were awesome. The one with Dean Thomas as Stephen A. Smith. It's on my Instagram and Twitter. And then we had Aljamain as like Adele saying me, and then we had Macy take to a Home Shopping Network. So my daughter, I bring my wife and daughter, and right away my daughter doesn't want to do the red carpet because she woke up from her nap. So she's like, no, get away. She's crying. It was great.
Yeah, the picture of that was pretty damn funny.
But then she meets Mackenzie Dern's kid, right? Mackenzie Dern, and they hit it off immediately. They have the dancing and running around, and Mackenzie Dern is the sweetest person ever. We're talking, and I felt bad for the 400 jokes I made about her fake accent and missing weight. She doesn't know who I am. And I wanted to be like, hey, you don't know me, but I'm sorry.
Then she was like, I was really dark in there. I thought you were Brendan Schaub.
Oh, yeah, she was so nice.
That's 3.
She was so nice. But her kid is 2.5, right? Her little daughter was adorable, but she's teaching her jiu-jitsu. And they're like, yeah, she doesn't have anyone to train with. I'm like, you think? Right? So her and Violet are playing, and she's taking down my daughter. She keeps taking her down, trying to, do jiu-jitsu. And Violet's looking at me like, Daddy, what is this?
Don't look at me. I just tell jokes.
Yeah, right.
If you don't have anybody to train with, maybe her and Cody Garber should get together.
Great.
They're about the same size.
Oh, damn. And then Tony Kelly came, by the way. Tony Kelly won his fight. So he drove from New Orleans to Vegas with his girlfriend, Andrea Lee, who's doing great. She's ranked 3rd right now because he doesn't want to wear a mask. He's like, Sean, he refuses to wear a mask. And I said it on the show. They came to my show. I go, thank God you guys won because that would be the longest road back of his wife. We could be flying right now, but somebody doesn't want to wear a mask. But
he had a good fight. He looked good.
He looked really good. But did you watch the bare knuckle boxing, the fight that went on between Julian Lane, the guy who was on The Ultimate Fighter? He was famous for saying, "Let me bang, bro." That was his whole. You ever watch that series, Sean?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So there was this meathead guy, Julian Lane, who really wanted to fight. And one night he got really drunk in the house. He's like, "Let me bang, bro. Let me bang." And he became the guy who was crying because he wanted to bang. Let me bang, bro. He wanted to punch at other guys. He kept saying, "Let me bang, bro." Right? So he's now in bare knuckle boxing. Right? He's doing pretty well. Well, he wants to fight Mike Perry. So Mike Perry was at the event, and they got to do a fight. So
imagine that.
So all his dreams came true.
So what happened was Mike Perry was talking to Chris Lytle, and Chris Lytle was like, "Oh, you're a professional fighter, Mike Perry." Blah. And then he yells out, "Mike Perry's a pussy. Pussy Perry, Pussy Perry," and threw something at Perry. Perry then just takes off the thing and just jumps into the crowd to fight him. And then the guy gets mad. He goes, "He hit me." And then Let Me Bang Bro got mad and he got hit. but he started the fight. Let me see if I can find this.
That was shocking that Mike Perry reacted like that. He's normally a very level-headed, calm guy.
Yeah, and I'm surprised there wasn't really good security there to stop it. Don't these fights take place in South Dakota or something?
Yeah, 500 fighters and there's no security. It always makes sense.
This was in Tampa. So let me see if I can find this. Okay, so here we're going to show what happened at bare knuckle boxing. All right, so this was just the beginning, right? This is the beginning.
Who's a real fighter? If you get here, said that all the way. You know what I mean? Hold on a second. Hey, can we do that?
And there you go.
Well, I don't know. There was no reason to even try. It's like, can we? Okay, never mind.
Hey, can we guys actually? Can we get some cameras on this, guys? The action's right over there right now.
So, I really think we are living in like the prime bare knuckle boxing, and people are just like it's one thing after another, and then here's another angle from the fight. Hold on, but we have to see this fight, right? I mean, this has to be. This is gonna be. I mean, this is a. So hold on, here we go, and let me see if we can get this. All right, here we go. There's a gate in between them.
Oh, so they didn't have security. They invited all the Target employees to come down. He hit me. I threw shit at him and called him a bitch, and he hit me. That's pretty amazing.
It surprised me when guys like that, like he can't believe Mike Perry hit him. Like I wouldn't be able to believe it if Mike didn't. Or like the guy that went up to Hector Lombard and got in his face and got punched and couldn't believe it. Like what don't you believe? That's exactly what I would expect if I were you. Like that's right.
The guy says, "Perry, you pussy, Perry, you pussy."
Right.
Throw something at him, and then he goes, "He hit me." He hit me.
I heard Perry was mostly offended that he didn't call him the N-word.
Like, oh my God! I mean, Mike Perry is just, man, it was so funny. I mean, Mike Perry he's just like everywhere he goes, and he was just trying to have an interview. He wasn't really trying to get into a fight. Like he was just trying to, but like, you can't expect, you don't throw something in his face. You expect him not to do anything. That's not the guy. That's not the guy to fuck with.
I'm really surprised UFC let him go, man. I can't believe. I know they offered him huge money elsewhere, but I cannot believe that they let him go. Like he's so popular, and he's never been in a fight that was anything but awesome. Like I don't know.
No, you're right.
You're right. He quickly became a very recognizable brand, and he's a guy that even when he loses, he puts up great fights. I mean, he thinks he could be like a Cerrone that you just keep him around, to make guys fight him to see what they got. They should
have done Perry, Nick, or Nate Diaz at some point, man. That would have been amazing.
No, you're right. You're right. That would have been amazing. Although I think that I think Mike Perry was one of those dudes that has this really heavy hands, but his other skills weren't. That people figured out how to beat him. I think that was the problem. They there was a blueprint on how to beat this guy. That Alan Juban kind of actually was the first guy to kind of figure out. And everyone just started doing, or maybe it was Max Griffin also beat him too. And people realized, okay, just don't go punch for punch with him, and you're probably going to win. This week, there's actually some good fights. Chris Daukaus, who's a cop. I think he's
right.
A Maine cop, I believe, or maybe New Hampshire, is fighting Derrick Lewis.
Who used to be a criminal. So.
He was in jail, so allegedly. I have to look into that. But yeah, this should be a good fight. This should be a really good fight. Both these guys can bang. Daukaus has won like his last 5 fights, I believe, by knockout. And Derrick Lewis is a monster. Who do we like in this fight? Don Frye.
Hell, I don't know. I don't know what the cop looks like.
Let me see if we can find some Chris Daukaus highlights. And then also,
I think Don just wants to know what he looks like, just his face, and then he'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, I think all you need to know is he's the white guy.
Oh, okay. He's a white cop. Well, then shit, he's in the club. Call it
I'm
Clover
not
Lane.
now, the views of Don Frye are not. They do not respect.
We're just joking, everyone. We're just kidding.
Me and Greg Wilson are not in the club. All right, so here we go.
Yes, we're not in that club. Not in that club. All my sheets are patterned, so I'm not in the
I
club.
like how you left me in the club.
yeah.
Oh, you're the bouncer at the door to
You
the
carry the
club.
club.
All right, so here's some
You carry the club.
Chris
Club
Doctor highlights. I guess he's from Philly.
Dietrich. Chris.
That is not Derrick Lewis.
Genuine good guy.
I mean, how do you not root for a guy who's a cop and a fighter? That's just
He's a freestyle fighter standing 6 feet 3 inches
Philadelphia.
weighing at 227 pounds and 12%.
I'm going Derrick Lewis.
How much does Derrick weigh?
Oh,
Probably
jeez.
285 by the time he walks in the cage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. This guy's only this guy's 2.25.
Yeah.
250. They say 250.
Oh, I thought it said 225.
Well, I guess maybe in that fight, but his current stats say he's 250.
What's his record?
He's
12-3. 12-3.
I mean,
He's a good fighter. His last fight was a good fight. He was great.
I think the issue here, though, is that he seems to want to go punch for punch with people, and that you're never going to beat Derrick Lewis in a punch for punch contest.
No, Derrick's got the experience now too. You know, I mean, he's been in a couple title fights. He lost them, but he's been there. You know, so he can go.
But he also has quit before. I know he quit in the Mark Hunt fight. He said, I guess he was eating, according to Vince Michelle, he was eating ribs before the fight, like literally, like right before he walked out, and then had stomach cramps and said he was going to shit himself. So that's why he tapped. But he was losing the fight anyway. But he had sort of like.
Anybody else want ribs now? Like
Well,
that's all I heard.
Who's his trainer?
I just want to shit
Who's
myself.
his trainer and his cornerman? Why would the trainer and cornerman let him do something like that?
I don't think you could tell Derrick Lewis what to do. I think
I literally thought Don just said, why didn't his trainer give him cornbread? And I was like, this is getting out of control.
Well, first of all, his trainer is Tony Roma, and then his cornerman was Dickie. So I think they were trying to get him to decide who had the better ribs.
Dude, I would laugh so hard though if I saw him eating ribs. If I saw anyone eating ribs before they walk out.
I think there's video of it. I think there's video of him eating ribs, like before the fight. Like I think I saw it in the locker room. I may be crazy, but I think I saw it.
He would also become my favorite fighter ever. So also Bilal Muhammad, who I give props, he'll fight anyone, is fighting Stephen Thompson. I think that was the problem with the Jeff Neal fight. Was I saw him fight Stephen Thompson, and I'm like, oh, he's not as good as I thought he was. Stephen Thompson makes everyone look bad because he's got that fucking weird style of karate.
Yeah.
Nobody else has. That if you can't figure out how to beat him, like the three guys that beat him, then you would look bad. It's like Machida. Has anyone ever looked good against Machida except for maybe Vitor Belfort when he knocked him out? I mean, he's just so hard to look good against. And
I wonder who Don's rooting for in that fight, Stephen Thompson or a Muslim from the Middle East. I wonder which.
That's a hard decision. That's a coin toss.
First of all, he's American.
He is American. His
name is Bilal Muhammad, but his nickname is Remember the Name.
Yeah, he grew up in Chicago. He's like the nicest dude. He went to law school. Super smart, like awesome guy. He came to my show. He was sitting next to Nathan Levy from Israel, and I think he's from Palestine. I'm like, are you guys okay here? I was there's not going to be any rock throwing. Both of them laughed and were great sports. He happens to be a hilarious guy too. Bilal, he did like the Tony Ferguson workout program one time in his sketch. That was like the funniest sketch.
That's hilarious.
Everything was wrong. He was like bench pressing like the fucking the bench. Like he went under the bench, started benching it. Like the treadmill was like he was walking on his hands. Bilal happens to be also Ricky Simone.
Wait a minute. Oh, can we talk about this fight real quick? Because I think this is a very bad matchup for Stephen Thompson.
Why?
I think Bilal Muhammad is going to have a lot of problems for him, and he's going to beat his ass.
I don't know. I mean, Is anyone in a bad matchup for Thompson except for, Thompson got beat by Matt Brown. He got knocked out by Masvidal, but he was winning that fight, right? I think he lost his last fight to Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, he's been real hit and miss, and Bilal Muhammad's been hot, man. And this guy, he's going to bully him. I think he's going to bully him. I think he's going to take him down. I think he's going to submit him.
I don't know. I hope so. Sean?
I think Steve Thompson's past his prime, man. I really do from what I've seen. So, yeah, I'll go Muhammad if I had to pick.
Also on the card is Raquel Pennington versus Macy Chaston, who's 6-1. She won the Ultimate Fighter. She had like one bad night against, I think it was Yana Zara, and she's people don't talk about her enough. She's really good. Raquel's my girl. She drove 2 hours with Tisha Torres to come watch me in Colorado. So I'm always going to vote for a root for anyone that supports me like that. So I got to go for Raquel in this one. Angela Hill's also on the card.
Yeah.
I love some Angie. Saturday night is Jake Paul versus the rematch.
Versus who?
Tyron Woodley.
Oh, God. Again? Why?
Thank you. What the fuck is happening?
He was supposed to fight Tommy Fury, who is Tyson Fury's little brother. And Tommy bailed out because of an injury. So Tyron Woodley has stepped up to fight Jake Paul. Jake Paul says if Tyron knocks him out, he's going to give him $500,000. Who do we like in this card? In this fight?
No one.
Thank you. Thank you, Don. No one. You know who wins this? Anyone who doesn't watch or care about it.
Sean, who wins this?
I would say that Tyron Woodley never fails to disappoint me. So I think Jake Paul will win again. Whether it's rigged or not, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I don't. I think if Woodley was going to beat him, he would have beat him the first time. I don't see it going any different this time. And if he goes out there, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he goes out there, doesn't throw any punches, and then has him hurt and doesn't finish him, and then afterwards talking about how he got ripped off on a decision. It doesn't surprise me. So.
I think Woodley comes through this time. I think he knows his gas tank's not great because he hasn't trained that much because he took advantage of notice. So he's going to come out and actually throw punches because he's going to figure he has 3 rounds in him, and he's going to knock him out in the first 3 rounds. Greg.
You're insane. You're
yeah. Yeah, he's going to go out there and go, oh, yeah, I can knock him out, or I can get that extra $500,000 and let him knock me out. So
No. He gets $500,000. If Jake says if Tyron knocks him out, he gets $500,000.
Yeah, you know what that means? That means exactly. That's what that means. That means there's $1 million if he doesn't. That's exactly what the fuck that means.
He put a bounty on his own head.
Nobody does. Yeah, you get 500 if you knock me out. You get $1 million if you let me knock you out.
$60 this Saturday night. $60. And also on the card, Katie Taylor is fighting Serrano, who's a good.
Finally.
Also, NFL running back. Greg, you know this, right? NFL running back Frank Gore.
Sure.
He's fighting against retired NBA veteran Darren Williams.
Okay. The communist, exactly.
This is like Rocky IV.
Who are these people? Who you watch Sean, you watch the NBA, right?
Yeah, Darren Williams, he was a really, really good point guard for a lot of years for Utah, man. He was a good basketball player. I don't know if he can fight. And Frank Gore was one of the all-time leading rushers in the NFL. So
yeah, well, probably one of the longest careers any running back has ever had. I think he played in the league like 14 seasons. I mean, he played for fucking ever, and now he's taking what's left of his body and throwing it in the ring.
So who wins this fight, Frank Gore or Darren Williams?
I would say Gore, based on he's a football player, not a basketball player, so he might be a little tougher.
That would be the only reasoning I would have for that, too. He's used to being physical and hitting shit, and the other guy's a fucking basketball player. He's a communist. We know this.
Don Frye, who wins this fight?
I go with Gore.
Why?
For the same reasons that Sean just spit out, you know? He's getting abused physically. And, the basketball player's not going to like get his hands when he hits. It'll hurt his hand. So he won't like that at all.
That was my problem because I played basketball in college.
Was Frank Gore any good? He was a good player?
He was an excellent player, a very dependable, excellent player for a very long time. Never like a superstar, but very dependable.
I mean, why this fight's kind of random, no?
You mean like Jake Paul versus whoever?
Rematch between Paul and God.
I want Jake Paul to fight the winner of the Kentucky Derby. Whatever horse wins, I want him to fight that horse. It's Jake Paul.
He needs to start out the horse that placed last. Build himself up.
Here comes Jake Paul. He's entering the ring, and here comes the challenger, America Gray.
Dude, I think what's his name fought a bear on New Year's Eve in Russia. Bob Sapp. You ever see that fight between Bob Sapp and a bear? It was like a nightclub in Russia. Hold on.
Do they have different colored trunks on?
Let me see if I can find the bear. He fought a bear. Let's see if I can find the video. Yeah. Hold on. He fought a bear New Year's Eve. It got 60,000 hits. All right, hold on. Let me see. All right, so here we go.
Indebted to the mob is Bob Sapp.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
All right, so here's what happened in Bob Sapp versus the bear.
I love it. He fought him in Russia, and the video's in Japanese.
But
what the hell? He's fighting a bear.
But there's a cage in between them.
Right. This is dumb. They're like mime fighting. How can you? This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
A bear's got to be thinking, let me bang, bro. Take the cage down.
That's exactly what that bear is thinking. And so is Bob Sapp.
They told me,
Bob wants to bang the bear in a different way.
So Bob Sapp's here. What was it like fighting that bear?
Oh, man, that bear, they're larger than you think, man. I couldn't get to him real good. I couldn't get on him, but he really, I'll tell you who took the worst of it. That poor plexiglass. I mean, it really took a beating.
That Forrest Gump or Bob Sapp?
I don't even know anymore. I gotta hear a sample.
Okay, Sean, you were. So what happened was we had Bob Sapp on the podcast, right? And for some reason, like he was, I want to say his girlfriend was kidnapped in Africa or something.
Yeah, somebody got kidnapped, and then he wasn't supposed to leave the country because they thought he kidnapped her, so he left the country, and now he's fighting a bear in Russia. I think it all lines up.
So he came on the podcast. For some reason, somebody got kidnapped, and he called our podcast to tell us. Like, he didn't call like the police or anything. It was like he called us, and he was laughing while telling us, like, he was laughing at the wrong parts of the story. Like, the story wasn't funny at all, but then he would laugh at, like, parts that, like, hey, and then she got kidnapped. Like, and I see her, they put her a knife through her throat. Like, it was like, none of it made any sense. And then
they had someone else in that trunk.
Like, he was like, what?
They thought I was in there. I was at the airport already.
It was the strangest interview ever.
That's awesome.
So
hung out with Bob Sapp in person. It's something. It's a good time, man. He's funny.
Darren,
he is funny. Now, why would you want to kidnap your own girlfriend? I mean, you would pay somebody to get rid of her, but not you. Why would you keep her?
No, he didn't kidnap her.
Thank you, Don. Finally, the voice of wisdom.
But Sean, didn't Bob tell you he had like 6 months to live, which is why he's throwing all these fights for money? And that was like
he had a guy. I don't want to mention any names. If I remember his name, I would just say what it was. But he had a guy who would smuggle a lot of stuff for him out of Thailand, not people, but other things. And the guy told me that Bob didn't have long left to live. He said he's only got like 6 months, but like Bob was his hero. And then he also had his own Japanese slave, like this lady that would wipe his forehead off, like when he was sweating, or like she would feed him food, like he didn't touch his food, she fed him. And it was like a weird setup, like a really weird setup, because Bob was paying for everything the whole time we were there, but he had like a Japanese slave lady. So I asked the guy who was his smuggler, I said, hey, can you get me one of those? No, I said, what's with the lady that's his slave lady or whatever? And he said that Bob actually hired her. Like he found out she was like a 15-year-old prostitute 10 years before or whatever, like at a Japanese bar. And he felt so sorry for her. He just hired her to be his assistant, even though he didn't need an assistant. He didn't really have a job for her. And then he just paid her to get her out of she was an orphan kid, like terrible story. And then the guy told me Bob had like 12 employees. And that's why he was throwing fights so he could fight every couple of weeks, because he was paying for everybody's bills or paying for several people's, things. He said he feels so sorry for people. Then, like, he gave Gary Goodrich $50,000 or $100,000 because Goodrich had brain damage. Like, he doesn't brag about it. He's not like Shaquille O'Neal, who gives a quarter to a kid on the street and makes a documentary about it. But every time I see Shaq, he's like, yeah, I gave that guy $10. Like, he's always bragging about something he did. I gave him a pair of shoes. But anyway, yeah, so Bob, like the guy told me Bob secretly has a staff of 12, and he just gives people money all the time. Anybody's got a hard luck story, Bob will hire him and give him a job. Of some kind.
Oh, that's nice of him. All right.
So, I got to tell you, when the story starts with he has a slave, this is a surprisingly positive outcome, and I'm glad to find out. Yeah, you got to maybe next time call her an intern.
Right.
All right.
Maybe slave isn't the word you want to start with.
So this Saturday
and then
night,
turn it into a heartwarming story about how he saved her from a life of prostitution.
The risk you run when you dabble in the flesh trade.
Oh my God.
So this Saturday night, by the way, a fight that I can't wait to watch because we haven't talked about it. Cub Swanson, my man Cub, is taking on Darren Elkins. Elkins already started bleeding. He's already bleeding. This fight has...
To see it, you have to subscribe to a time machine.
Yeah. Does anyone have a flux capacitor?
Exactly.
I want to see this fight 20 years ago.
Darren won it last. No, first Darren came back and won a huge fight last time. I'm excited for this fight. This is a fight. Darren's
you know what?
You're excited. You're excited for the Jake Paul fight. So what the hell?
Honestly, like if they fought 100 times, I would watch it every time, hoping that this was the time that Woodley knocked him out. Like I'm gonna
have a sad life.
By the way, Don, we never talked about your hand. And we'll close with this. You got bit by a spider. How did that happen?
I don't know. I think so. I was out in the barn working, or throwing hay to the horse, not really working. And then, I didn't feel anything, but I started itching in between the two knuckles, between the middle, on the middle finger, and the ring finger. And it started itching, and then I just scratched it, and then, opened it up, and then it started swelling up, and then got red, got black, got blistered up, and I went to an urgent care, sat there for an hour and a half, finally go in to see there, and she says, you got bit by something. There's nothing we can do. We don't have the equipment, You don't have the IV stuff. No, we're not prepared for that. But it says there's urgent care. Yeah, but that's not what we do. And so I had to go to another hospital, and there were like 50 people in the ER. And I said, "What's the wait?" And she said, "Some people have been waiting for 9 hours."
Oh my God!
Bye-bye. Yeah. So I went to another hospital, only had to wait 3 hours, and then they looked at it and they said, you got to see a hand specialist. The hand specialist at another hospital. So I go to that hospital. And so they checked me in, gave me a bunch of IV antibiotics, and then the specialist came in the next day, next night actually, about 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and she looks at it and says, "What happened to you?" I said, "I don't know. I think maybe I got bit by a spider." She says, "Well, that's what all drug users say."
Oh my God!
Well, that's what all drug users say. They don't know what happened. It must have been a spider. And I said, on my finger? And she said, yeah, you'd be surprised what people shoot up at. And I said, well, I'm not a drug addict. Sure. And so then she says, we'll give you antibiotics. I'll see you tomorrow. She came back about the same time, 7 p.m. And I said, so you still think I'm a drug addict? She says, I don't know. You tell me.
Come on.
Dude, I was going to say, when Don started the story, I guarantee they saw he's on a pain management program. And that's when they see that, even if you're prescribed one Percocet a month, you're automatically a drug addict, no matter what that's what happened to Stephen Botter. Stephen Botter goes with a fractured vertebrae, and they're like, well, you're on pain management. What, you here for pain pills? And he's like, no, I have a broken back. And they're like, well, we're not going to treat you. I get the drug addict speech every time I go for anything. I could fall off a ladder from a 30-foot thing. I don't know why.
I know. They do that to my sister who needs medical care. She's on dialysis. And so
they gave you the drug. They put you on the drugs. They put you on the drugs to begin with.
Yeah, and then if you're in pain, they're like, "Oh no, you're a drug addict. You're trying to get us to give you, Dilaudid and all this." It's like, I'm fucking in pain. Okay, I'm not a drug addict. It's just unreal. They always say that. That's like the number one. It's like their favorite thing to say or something.
That's fucking annoying. Anyway, all right. Well, Don, I'm happy you're okay now, man. I truly am.
It's ugly. It healed it, but finger's ugly. But I get to go see that hand specialist Thursday, so I look forward to seeing her again.
Yeah, be sure. It's like, give her a good up close look at that finger. I'm just joking. These are jokes.
Greg,
I heard Brendan Schaub sees a hand specialist at the Asian massage place at least once a week. But that's all right.
Greg, what do you have coming up?
New Year's Eve, I'm going to be at London at the Secret Stash show. I think on Thursday night. London Secret Stash, I believe, is the name of the show, and I'll be there on I believe that's on Thursday or Friday night, one or the other. Might be Friday night. And then New Year's Eve, I'm at the El Paso Comic Strip. So the London trip's coming up. We're going tomorrow. We leave Wednesday. So Friday night, the Secret Stash show in London, England. And then back at El Paso for New Year's Eve. That's what I'm doing.
And Don, what do you have?
Tomorrow I'll be doing my podcast. We've got Boss Rutan flying in. So Dan and Don be interviewing Boss Rutan tomorrow, and it'll probably be released next week. And then New Year's Eve, I'll probably go up to Denver, see my buddy Raquel. He used to be my hands guy. And so he invited me to come up there and spend it with his family, And,
nice.
Yeah.
Sean?
I got a friend named Brian Pope invited me to San Diego for Christmas, so I wouldn't be alone.
I'm gonna go ruffle around in some weeds and hope to get bit by a spider, so I can go get called a drug addict in a hospital. When I go to pain. That's my plan.
It'll be a funny sketch. You have Don Frye as Santa Claus, and then have kids come up there and be like, I want this. He goes, of course you do, you fucking pussy. That's what's wrong with you, damn kid. like every time a kid asks for something.
You realize basketball's for communists? Get the fuck out of my Get on my lap, you commie bastard.
He goes, my mommy said, I fucked your mom back in '84. She wasn't that good. Next question.
Next kid.
We gotta somehow get Don as Santa Claus.
Every kid just gets thrown onto a mat nearby.
Wish denied. Get the fuck off my lap. Who's next?
You think you got problems? Look at this fucking hand. I got bit by a spider with bars.
You got a Percocet? Come on,
yeah, and the kid's going to be like, I may be 7, but I know a drug addict when I see one.
All the kids are going to be leaving drugs out instead of cookies for Santa. They're like, who told you this? To Santa that you took
you guys are being extremely mean to me. You know that? Extremely mean.
I'll trade you. I'll give you a gift for some fucking Percocet. Like he's such a flop.
Go in mommy's purse and her medicine cabinet and give me all the white and yellow pills.
And hide them under the cookies.
We gotta do that.
Stuff them into the cookies. Just stuff them right into the cookies.
Somebody send me monies. We could fly fucking by Don to L.A. and we could shoot that sketch. I'll have my little daughter in it. She'll be the kid asking for presents. We'll get her and her friends. That'll be the greatest sketch of all time.
I'll make that happen and I'll be there as long as I don't have to wear a mask.
You can call him Santa Frye.
Don Claus or Santa Frye, either way. All right, January 5th to the 8th, I'm at the Looney Bin in Little Rock. I'm in Looney Bin in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the 12th to the 15th. Des Moines Funny Bone, January 14th and 15th. Thank you. And New Year's Eve, I'll be in Cabo. Thank you guys so much. Take care, guys. You guys are the best.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.